Hello, welcome back to the Marketing Gamble episode 6, the podcast where I share the lessons I learned growing my business at uni and many marketing ideas. So just a quick little announcement. Even though I did originally say that I'd start the podcast daily, I think I underestimated slightly the amount of time it would take out of each day. And with me going back to uni in a couple of weeks, I think it's going to be difficult to stick to daily uploads. So I'm resorting to one episode a week just to kind of make it a bit more manageable. The guest interviews and the expert interviews, they will still be in addition to the weekly episodes. So it's a minimum of one episode a week. And then if I ever have a guest on, that'll be an additional episode for that week. So yeah, great. For today then, what I wanted to talk about was something that I touched on when I was exploring the idea of the diehard customers in one of the episodes. So right now I'm reading this book here called Traffic Secrets. It's the last book in the Russell Brunson series. And in the book, Russell Brunson talks about this idea is that many entrepreneurs, they build a product or they build a business or a service, and they have the idea that if they make it just like so unbelievably good, that people will just come to them. And Russell explains that this is sort of like a losing strategy that doesn't really work. He said, what most don't do and that they should start doing is that they should start with who, because once you know who, you know where they are online, and then you can tailor your marketing specifically to those people to kind of hook them in. So for example, let's say I apply this to this podcast and I want to get more people watching and more people listening. So according to Russell Brunson, first I should start with who. So I should ask myself the question, who is the perfect listener for this podcast? And because I share lessons starting my business, and because I'm young and I'm starting my business at uni, perhaps it's other young people at uni who want to start their business. So maybe it's a 20-year-old uni student who's quite entrepreneurial. In a sense, someone that's similar to me. So now I know who it is. I can think of where they might be online, where are they congregating, what places are they going to? And this is where the strategy gets pretty cool. So an entrepreneurial student where do I find them online? Because they're quite similar to me, a good way to think about this for me is just when I was trying to start my business, where would I be online? So one of the places I was YouTube. Then I think, okay, who did I watch? So on YouTube, I would watch maybe Iman Gadzhi, I would watch Alex Hormozi, maybe people like Gary Vee. So maybe my perfect listener also watches those people. Let's think of podcasts as well. What podcasts did I listen to? I listened to Diary of a CEO and podcasts that were about starting businesses. So maybe my listeners are also listening to those podcasts. I can do this for all the social media groups. I can do this for all the blogs. I can do this for email newsletters. And I can think about where would the perfect listeners who I would want to listen to me be online? What places would they be in? And once I've kind of grasped where they'll be online and I come up with these places, so Diary of a CEO, for example, they might be listening to that podcast. I can send out hooks to these places to get their attention and try and pull some of those listeners to come and listen to my podcast. So take Stephen Bartlett, for example. Maybe a lot of the dream listeners I have are also listening to Stephen Bartlett. I could go on Instagram, for example, and I could run ads specifically to his followers who are aged 20. And that would be very likely people similar to me who would also enjoy listening to my podcasts. So what I could do is I could run ads that that try and hook in his followers who are age 20 to come and listen to my podcast. Obviously, those ads are paid, so if it was a free approach, maybe I'd be trying to get on his platform. But of course, that's very difficult because he's got a massive platform and he interviews, top entrepreneurs. So maybe instead I could, on a smaller scale, I could email the entrepreneur societies at universities across the UK about my podcast. And in return, I could interview the society leader, or I could come up with some marketing ideas and I could talk to them all about their businesses that they're trying to come up with. Now, you might be thinking, oh, but my business is local, so this doesn't really work for me. But what Russell talks about in his book is that you can apply this on a local level just by thinking, well, my customers, what local businesses do they go to? What local influencers or spaces do they go to? Is there a local golf club where all your potential customers might go to? And then you can run ads there in those places, or you can go to those places and try and hook them in there. And then on another thing people might think as well is if you're a one-to-one service, I don't need to go to all these influencers because they are it's too big. There's not enough influencers. I just need one-to-one with my customer. Then rather than listing out, a load of podcasts or blogs or websites that your dream customers will go to, just list out the perfect clients that you'd want to go to, and then think about where your clients would be instead, as opposed to listing out all the influencers. And I think this kind of shows what Russell Brunson was talking about, which is like the power of knowing your dream customer. Because once you know who they are exactly, and you know what they like, and you become obsessed with them, as he talks about, then you know where they are, and then getting them to come to you becomes much easier, because you know exactly where they are, and you can just send an ad or something that gets them to come to you. And that's basically what I wanted to chat about today. So let me know what you think about that. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe and leave a like and comment on the podcast. And if you're on Spotify, follow the podcast and leave a review. If you want to message me and reach out, connect with me on LinkedIn and send me a message. And I will see you next week for the next episode. Thank you very much, and speak to you soon.